Welcome back, everyone, to JacksSuns.com. This is Roger Hoover, now joined by a former Jacksonville Sun and also the closer for the Miami Marlins, Steve Cishek. And first of all, Steve, just great to see you. How's the offseason treating you?
Off-season's been great so far. Spending a lot of time with my wife, and we're working on our new home in Florida, so it's been outstanding.
Traveling around the country right now. We're at your alma mater, Carson Newman University in Jefferson City, Tennessee. Take me back to a younger Steve Cishek. What made Carson Newman the right choice for you?
I was actually going to go to Pace University in Manhattan, and it was a business school, and I was looking to be a PE teacher. I didn't want anything to do with business, but so I just happened to look on a list of schools that a friend of mine gave to us, and he knew Griff very well, and Carson Newman was a D2 school that down south, and that's where I wanted to get away from home, get into some warmer weather, and be able to play all year round. And sure enough, when I made the visit, it just seemed like the right place for me.
How do you feel you improved during your time at Carson Newman enough to get you drafted by the Marlins?
It was crazy. I didn't really work that hard in high school. I wasn't really taught work ethic until I got here, and discipline for that matter. And it was like day one. Coach Griff and Coach Acord made us like run extra sprints because we didn't line up our stools properly. I'm like, man, like what's going on? So right there, it just taught us discipline and work ethic. And within my very first outing, I hit 92 miles an hour out of nowhere. And surely it's because of the work ethic they instilled in us, and all the things we did to build arm strength, and just carried that on throughout my remaining years here.
Then you were drafted by the Marlins, and you made your way up to Double-A with the Jacksonville Suns. What are some of your favorite memories as a Sun?
Well, obviously winning the title down there, the championship. We won it on a walk-off home run by our catcher, Chris Hatcher, who's now a major league pitcher, which is another story, which is incredible. But easily that was like the biggest moment of my baseball career at that point. It was just seeing that ball go over the fence and getting a ring on our fingers. It was an awesome experience.
And Double-A is an important time for any pitcher trying to make it to the major leagues. And you got to work with the pitching coach and John Duffy, who's still the pitching coach for the Jacksonville Suns. What did you like about Duff?
Duff, I had him also in Greensboro, so I knew Duff really well. And Duff is just a worker, man. Anytime you need to go out there, anytime you need him, he's there for you. And then some. Like he make sure you got out there and made sure you throw off the mound and work on your stuff. And people like him, they just want to do anything to help you get better. He doesn't care about himself. He's just out there to help you out. So, Duff and CC, all of the guys, Doc, all those guys I had in the minor leagues, I'll never forget.
And you mentioned the 2010 season, Chris Hatcher getting the walk-off home run, and you kind of thought your season was done at that point, but it turns out you got a very important phone call afterwards.
Yeah, the next day I was on my way back home to Massachusetts, and sure enough, one of the starting pitchers on the Marlins, the major league team, just didn't have a solid outing, and they pretty much wore everyone out in the bullpen. They needed an extra arm, so had to make a nice little U-turn and drive back down 95 South. So it was the best phone call I've ever had.
Then the next year, some bullpen work in 2011. And then 2012, you took over the closer's role. Really had a strong finish to the season. What was working for you then?
That year it was my first full big league season, and I was trying my best to make a strong impression. And really, I was just trying to go out there and help the team out in any way possible. And sure enough, I ended up getting the job. And Heath was struggling a little bit, and they wanted to see what I could do. And I just went out there and tried to do anything I could to help the team win.
And then you carried over your spot in the closer's role into the 2013 season, had a career-best 34 saves, and you're really in some tight pressure moments. I'm sure as a closer, that's one of the things you like going through.
Yeah, definitely. And, the year before, getting that experience definitely helped out. I struggled early on with some command and my slider, just not locating it, just a lack of confidence. And, finally got it back. And, this year was, the biggest learning experience I've had, trying to learn how to pitch in the key situation when you don't have your best stuff. And, it was definitely an awesome experience this year, and I just wish, from a team standpoint, that it turned out better.
Yeah, the 2013 Marlins really a team in transition, and because of that, you got a lot of guys that began the year in Double-A with Jacksonville. Talk about some of the guys you saw, like Christian Yelich, Jake Merzink, also some pitchers that made their way to Miami.
Yeah, sure. Dietrich came up too. He was great for us. I mean, I feel like, he had some of the biggest hits for us, in that stretch when we were playing well, home runs, just like out of nowhere. He was struggling for a little bit of time, then he'd bust out with like a huge home run to put us ahead, and like it just seemed like all the time. Ozuna looked phenomenal as well, and he was great in the outfield. He has a cannon, so I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to have this next year. Caminero had a lightning arm in the bullpen. I mean, the ball just jumps out of his hand. He's fun to watch in bullpens. I've never seen him actually pitch in a game, so watching him pitch a game was awesome. He's also a really good guy. Who am I missing out here? Yelich was phenomenal. He's probably ended up being one of our more consistent hitters at the end of the year, and hopefully he'll have a job with us next year. And Risnick, he can run down some baseballs. I know he struggled a little bit offensively, but there's a lot of future in him. So these young guys, I feel like I'm old. I'm not that old, but they're just a lot of fun to watch, and it's gonna be exciting, seeing what they can do in the years to come.
Yeah, and you mentioned the future and a lot of the core pieces of what the Marlins would like to have moving forward. You got a lot of experience with them this past year, even though the win-loss record maybe not what you wanted. This has the making of a really good ball club.
Sure. I mean, we had the second best record in June, I think it was, in the National League. We had a pretty tough schedule at that point too. We were competing with everyone. That just goes to show you what kind of talent we had, and obviously the rest of it didn't really work out. But like you said, it's a transition period for us, and we're very young, and it's going to be exciting what this team's going to be capable of.
Well, Steve, great to catch up with you at Carson Newman. Best of luck the rest of the offseason, and we'll see you in Jupiter for spring training.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much.